Now, before we cross over to the coaching call with Scott, I want to tell you about a very special Blab interview that I'm going to be holding on Monday, the 22nd of February at 12 p.m. PST. And in this Blab interview, I'm going to be talking with none other than Ray Edwards. Now, Ray Edwards is a communication strategist, copywriter, author, speaker, and host of one of the top iTunes business podcasts. He has worked with Fortune 500 companies and with some of the most powerful voices in leadership and business. His clients include New York Times bestselling authors Michael Hyatt, author of Platform and co-author of Living Forward, Tony Robbins, author of Unleash the Giant Within and Money, Master the Game, Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen, co-authors of Chicken Soup for the Soul, and Jeff Walker, author of Launch, and many more. Ray's copy and marketing expertise has helped sell an estimated $200 million or more in products and services. Ray is the founder of Ray Edwards International Incorporated, which offers copywriting, consulting and coaching, product launch management, training and instruction. So as you can see, Ray is very highly qualified to be talking on the subject of writing copy that sells. And in fact, Ray is launching a book later this month with that very title, How to Write Copy That Sells. And if you want to find out how to get your hands on a free copy of the paperback version, and all you have to do is just pay for the postage and handling, stay tuned and come along to that interview because we will be showing you how you can get your hands on a copy of this fantastic book. So as you can see, it's going to be a powerful, information-packed interview. As an online course creator, learning copy is just so important because it comes into so many aspects of the work. And as you listen to this episode, you will see where copy comes in and how important it is. Come along to the Blab, attend live, ask questions. Here is your chance to ask questions of a man who is arguably the best copywriting teacher in the business. Jump on and have a live chat. Get your questions answered. Get some clarity. Take advantage of the time this man is giving us. If you want to come along and attend live, go to ecoursedomination.com/Ray Blab. That's RAYBLAB, ecoursedomination.com/Ray Blab, and just click the subscribe button, and then you'll get notification when we go live. So seriously, don't miss it. Subscribe today. Go to ecoursedomination.com/Ray Blab. So what we're going to do, I'm going to share my screen. So I'm getting this all pretty worked out. Here we go. I think this is the one. It's embarrassing if I share the wrong screen, isn't it? There we go. not that I get anything exciting on my screen.
I was going to say, it depends on what you have on there.
No, just actually been watching a training video by Eben Pagan. So,
okay. Yeah,
very, very unexciting. Well, it is exciting. It's very interesting. It's if you want to build a profitable business, but yeah. Okay, so let's look at this. And I think what we're going to do is we're still going to concentrate on the sales letter side at the moment. I don't think we're ready sort of to move past this stage yet for a number of reasons too, because there's another exercise I want you to do throughout the week, but this needs a little bit more focus. Okay, so we'll scroll down, and once again we're working at with the pastor format. Okay, so we're opening with pain or problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're amplifying that problem. So this is what we've got. And it's a journey. As we spoke about the buyer's journey or the hero's journey. So we're taking them on an emotional ride, and that we've got to be talking emotionally to we've got to be stirring emotions in our prospective buyer or in our prospective student, because we know that purchasing decisions aren't made logically. So they're made based on emotion. Okay. So we're going to start with the pain and that sort of stuff. Now, I just want to read you something. You may have heard this before, right?
Okay.
It just may give you an idea on how to how to sort of word the pain, because we really haven't got a pain stage here yet, right?
Okay.
We haven't got a pain problem stage. We've jumped straight to amplify, and this really isn't quite amplify. I'll explain it to you in a minute, right?
Okay.
But I'll just read something to you, and this is something that I read. I saw this. It was on Facebook a couple of years ago, and it just blew me away because I'm going, what? So it goes like this: the children now love luxury. They have bad manners, contempt for authority. They show disrespect for elders, and love chatter in place of exercise. Children are now tyrants and not the servants of their households. They no longer rise when elders enter the room. They contradict their parents, chatter before company, gobble up dainties at the table, cross their legs, and tyrannise their teachers. I know that language is very old, so do you have any idea who that quote may be attributed to?
Golly, no, I don't.
Okay, well, apparently it was attributed to Socrates by Plato.
Wow.
So parenting problems sort of date back.
Yeah.
And it's just really funny that it doesn't look like anything's changed. Like we're 2,500 years long, and but maybe the language. I don't believe that children should be the servants of any household. So no, that's probably a bit old-fashioned. And but I know like chattering before guests because children should be seen and not heard. So
right.
No, they were being naughty and misbehaving and not playing by the rules 2,500 years ago. Probably before that, and so it's been a long problem. And so the other thing, the other side, we come back to our struggling, lost, floundering parents, is that we can say it's not as if our kids come with a user's guide, and that these issues have been around for a long time. So this is where you may start your pain and saying like pain / problem / pain. Right. So I read you amplify when you're saying that the kids are just everybody's got their faces buried in a phone or a tablet, and I hear you. I pay my son's phone bill, and he goes over on he's got 8 gig of data, and he goes over on his data every month. So we've got to start identifying a problem, but that's just okay. So you've got a headline, and we may need to sort of keep on working on the headline side of things because it is a work in progress. And then remembering what we said about headline, it then goes into what we call deck copy. Okay, so just another sort of sometimes a qualifier to the headline, and then you should introduce yourself, and then introduce who you're writing to. And maybe what I'll do, I might just how do I swap over and share a different window here? So here's that Socrates quote that I just read to you. Okay, so here's a sales letter by probably one of the gurus in internet marketing, right? This man's made $100 million in about 10 different niches or more. And so we're just going to really, really flick down through his sales letter just to give you an idea, okay?
Okay.
So this is a limited time offer, so he's offering a big discount off one of his systems. Here's a really big, this whole thing here, like the $1 million traffic system, discover the exact system I've used, blah, blah, blah. That's the headline, right?
Okay. All right.
You see this next one down here underneath that? That's what we call deck copy.
Okay.
Right, so it's discover the exact system I use to get new customers and generate over $100 million in online sales. That's the headline. And how the same system and how you can use the same system, right? So that's called deck copy, right?
Okay.
Now then you see here we've got this is very common in sales letters because once again it's building faith and trust and building that rapport. You've got to look into their eyes, and they've got to be able to look into your eyes. So usually a photo from. Okay, so this would be from Scott Beebe. Date. Now you've got a couple of options here. Now Evan's chosen to go with the static date here. I think that's only because this is only running for another 21 hours, right? So,
okay.
But there are ways and tools you can put what we call a dynamic date in there, which is a bit of code that it will show today's date. So even a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 years from now, when somebody comes in and accesses this page, it'll actually show today's date. So it looks like it's current, right?
Okay.
Which is often a pretty good thing to do when you're doing a sales letter, because if somebody's coming back, say, in 12 months' time, they don't want to think that they're buying an obsolete, outdated training program, right?
Yeah.
And then the other thing here is obviously now we're going to be addressing the letter to our prospective student. So here, Eben is targeting entrepreneurs. You're targeting parents.
Okay.
Right. So this is, we've got to sort of get this happening here. Now, just coming through, you'll see there's early use of bullets and bold text for skimmers, because as we said, people do scan. And then very, very early on, we've got a subhead, and then a little bit more. So you can see there's not a lot of text, probably like a matter of 10 sentences between subheads, and then another subhead.
Okay.
All right. And another thing that Ray Edwards says is that you like to keep the flow and to keep the interest. Just when you think you're going to get them to lose interest, you throw another subhead, right? And the subhead is then once again to build curiosity, especially for the scanners, as they're scanning down really quickly. If something just jumps out, then they'll actually stop and read. So that's another reason why you want those subheads in there. Okay. So if we go through like the format, like the buyer's journey, the hero's journey, I don't know whether Eben, look, they all follow a similar pattern, because the order in which you evoke these emotions is very important. Otherwise, if you get things sort of mucked around and out of order, it can affect the saleability, the effectiveness of the letter. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he's talking here about the problem. You're frustrated because you can't seem to get enough customers to show up and buy your products, blah, blah, blah. So that's the problem. So he's even here, he's starting to talk about the offer, right? Get a crowd of high cash in hand customers to your business. So he's already sort of talking about what he's going to be introducing in this particular training course. He's introducing the actual course itself. I used to really struggle to get traffic and make sales. Does that sound familiar? So here comes his story, his problem. Now, before he developed the system, these were the problems he was having, right? Mm-hmm. And then what happened? The epiphany, whatever happened to change it, turn it around. So that's the story. Now he's coming out to what all mistakes all businesses make. And then he's done all the heavy lifting, and then he's introducing. Now this is where he's actually introducing what's in the package.
Okay.
All right, and you can just see that he hasn't even sort of broken it down to module 1, module 2, module 3. He's just put a whole heap of bullets in there.
Okay.
All right. Now, if you look at these bullets, they're pretty benefit based. You are going to learn the 5 specific steps to dominate any marketing channel. Like, who wouldn't want to know that? If my 3-part formula that increases your sales, your conversion, sales, and traffic. If you're not getting enough traffic, this could be the reason.
Okay.
Right. So the most powerful channels that you can use. So I really recommend that when you're starting to write your copy, is go and look at the good copywriters like Evan Pagan and the guys like John Carlton and those sort of guys, like the guys who know their stuff and have got the name in the industry, as because you want to model your sales letters off sales letters that work, not off sales letters that don't work. Right.
Okay.
Then it goes on, and it's quite a big letter. Okay. So, but I just want to sort of take you through and see how nice and clean and clear it is. There's no fancy graphics now. Now Eben Pagan, he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, if he wants to put fancy graphics on something, he can, right? Mm-hmm. Right now, but he knows what works and he knows what sells, and this is it. This is just very clean, easy to read, well set out, well spaced. So there's no great big heavy blocks of text they're going, because we know a lot of humans, they see a great big dark blob on the screen. It's like, that's just too much hard work. I don't want to read that, right? Mm-hmm. So you can see that it's all very nicely. He's made good use of of some bolding. So once again, for scanners, and good use of, and obviously good use of subheads, which we know are basically headlines as well, which are designed to create curiosity and to grab attention. Okay.
And is this all one? This is all just one sales page.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. From top to bottom, right?
And what's it's because I'm going to pull it up on my end too, so I can look at it. So it's ebb and pagan traffic intensive.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll actually copy this. So I don't know whether you'll actually be able to find it because I'm one of his students.
Okay.
But well, it's anybody who's on his mailing list would have got this. But
Okay.
I'll put this into I'll stop sharing that now so I can get back to this screen, and I'll put this into chat. So now coming back to, so having sort of seen that, now we come back to yours. So what we need to do here is, okay, so we've got to add the deck copy in here. We've got to put a picture and then say, from, maybe put the date, which I reckon should be a dynamic date if you've got the, if you've got the capacity to do that. And I'm sure Entreport would have a way that you can plug things like dynamic date in.
Yeah. It and it's got a countdown timer block and all that. So yeah. I can use that. That's a really great idea, is to open up his sales letter basically and just kind of essentially follow that, because I can do that. I can basically do this with a landing page, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So now, then we've got to explain the pain. All right. Now, when we say amplify is what's going to happen if they don't. So if they've got this problem and they don't do anything about it, what is going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is basically amplifying the results of inaction. So they're going to continue to have discourse in the family. The kids are continually going to be fighting over the controller for the video games, blah, 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 blah. So just sort of build up. So you've got the problem, and then you got the problem times 10, basically.
Okay.
And then here will be your story. Okay. So this is your story / solution.
Okay.
Introducing yourself in.
Hey, Tim, do you mind sharing your screen again?
Oh, trap for young players. Probably make a lot more sense when you see that.
There you go. All right, good.
Okay, so we've just gone through. So I've just taken out where you had the amplify, because this is obviously the amplify here.
Uh-huh.
You can say, so, and the thing is, once again, we've got to talk about making things tangible.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got to take it from the conceptual, from the abstract, from the non-descriptive. So we've got to take it from the broad right down to the specific.
Uh-huh.
So when you look at something and when you look at, say, a feature or something that you're offering, you say, can I make that any more specific? Can I take that a step further? And so one things you say, they can talk about food. And I can say, tonight for dinner, we're going to have food. Right?
Right.
We're going to have food. But what's that food going to be? No, for what I'm thinking, I might be thinking chicken and broccoli. You might be thinking pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're both food. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I say tonight for dinner, we're going to have fruit, we're coming a little bit more specific, aren't we? So,
Mm-hmm.
so basically the chicken and broccoli go out the window and basically so does the pizza. So they're not in the equation anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got a whole bunch of other things that are now in the equation. Now, you could be thinking bananas and I could be thinking cherries, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But if I said tonight we're going to be having apples for dinner, we're getting pretty specific, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then we could take it one step further, and we could actually say whether they were Jonathan's or Granny Smith's or whatever else, to be really, really specific.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the point, that when you are talking to your prospect, you have got to be so specific in your communication, because you don't have the, like, this is a written word, okay, and you may be able to even put some video up, but even in video you can probably sort of relate a little bit more with body language and whatever else, but in the written word you've got to really, really break it down. And as you said, we've got to step out of our logical brain, and we've got to go into this, really be specific and use action words and everything else. And the other thing too is then looking at the benefits of the benefits of the benefits, right? So as we come down, my internet connection is unstable.
So the old Mac just shut down on me. Sorry.
Okay, so that's all right. I thought, because a message came up on mine saying that my internet connection was unstable, so I didn't know what happened from my end or your end. But
no, we're good.
I was hoping that you heard me say that you actually done a good job so far. Did you hear that part?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
That's great. So I was praising you. I was praising the ether. Okay, let's go back. I'll go back and share this screen again, because I'm saying I should have known, because you became very, very non-responsive. Okay, so this is really, for a first draft and everything else, this is good, because you're talking some very specific, and you're talking some emotion in there, being bombarded. Where else? Yeah, saying both feeling lost and scattered. Mm-hmm. Right, those are emotional buttons, right? Mm-hmm. You're feeling that, and your prospective student's going to go, if they're in that same situation, they'll go, yeah, yep, that's me. Because what you basically want to do is, you want your sales letter, you want your prospective student to read your sales letter and go, wow, that was written just for me.
Yeah, that was me. Okay,
yep.
I got you.
That you've got to touch them at all those emotional points, and they're saying you've got to spell it out. That's where you've got to come down out of the conceptual, out of the abstract, and into the specific, and really spell it out and make it clear. And using those using those words, lost, scattered, they're powerful words. They're words that evoke emotion. So that's what I think is, when I'm reading through this, how am I feeling? The emotions rise and fall. Is it affecting me? Right? We can't be clinical. This is not the time to be clinical and logical and just straightforward and so dry and factual. This isn't the time. This is the time to tell the story and to evoke emotion. Right? We're not manipulating. We are persuading. So this technique can be used for evil. If you wanted to manipulate, you could play with people's emotions, right? But good marketers and people who are trying to do good in the world and to get good, useful products in front of people that are going to help them in their lives. But sometimes people still need persuasion. They still need to be told, convinced that they need that, and this is going to fix their problem. So it is persuasion, but not manipulation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I like the way that you've got some other people working on it, and I like the way I like the way this got conversational too, right? Because once again, now's not the time to be logical and dry and factual.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We want two things for our children. We want them to be great people, to We want them to be great people to be married to, and we want them to be a great friend to sit down and have coffee with. Yes. And that's the saying, in the way you're prompting through with those affirmations and everything else. And the way you're asking questions, you're saying you ask a question, then the human brain automatically has to answer it. It's just an automatic impulse. You got no. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the idea is to make a question that you're almost guaranteed the answer of. Like, no, mm-hmm. as they teach the solicitors and like the lawyers, don't ask a question in court that you don't know the answer to, because it could, it may bury your case. So, mm-hmm. You've got to be sort of, when you ask that leading question, you've got to be pretty sure that you know what the answer is going to be. And if it is far down the copy, you can be pretty much guaranteed that what the answer is going to be. Mm. So I like this. This is it's a great testimony, and it's interactive.
Yeah. Okay. So you feel like that's helpful, even though it's not like it doesn't. I mean, I guess it does get to some of the points, the sub points of what they're trying to achieve, but it's just, it seemed endearing to me because it's a literal back and forth. Yeah. Of what we had.
Yep. And it's the same. And that is going to be very useful to you than a cut and dry, like those testimonials are still very useful too. And the point is, like, a testimonial can make or break you as well. Like even a well-meaning testimonial, if it just doesn't get to the point, like somebody could put their heart and soul into writing you a wonderful testimonial, but if it doesn't say that at the end of the day your course had a result for them, then it's useless. Yeah. And the thing is, so we've got to talk about transformation. So you've got to look for transformation in your testimonials, and that how your course transformed these people's lives. Okay. So when we come down to the product, I just want to sort of go into a little bit more depth here about the offer. So sort of it's hours and hours and weeks and weeks and years to learn how to become a master copywriter. And I'm by no means a master copywriter. I'm still studying. I was studying right up until the time we had this call. Mm-hmm. But we had you had like a 45-minute hour call with me last week, and that was throwing you into the deep end. So I said you've done really, really well. So when it comes to your product, and so we're talking about your offer here. Once again, we want to talk about the transformation that your product is going to bring to the prospective student. So what transformation? So by using this product, this life-changing thing is going to happen. Okay. So we've got to highlight that as part of your offer, and then we can go into the bullets. Now, when we talk about the bullets, saying go back and review that Eben Pagan letter. Okay. I like the way this has come in well. Like, you're actually naming the course now, so now they actually know there is a product and they know what it's called. That's all very good. But see here, episode 1, we will give you an overview of what you need to do.
I'm back to facts now.
Yeah. You have voices in your head telling you not to do this. We will help you silence those voices. That's getting better. That's, once again, now also, remember when we're talking about those keywords? Mm-hmm. In here wouldn't be a bad place to put some well-placed keywords. Okay. Okay. Okay, so here, we'll take you on the inside of our own family's vision so you can get the raw vision story. Now here, you could really sort of make it a bit more Hollywood blockbuster and saying, we'll take you behind the scenes and we'll show you how we went about doing our own, we draw back the curtains, take you behind the scenes and show you how we went through the process ourselves and the results that they've got. All right. But yeah, look at what so we give you an overview of what you need to do. That doesn't sound very enticing, does it?
I know. No, it's just it's factual. I mean, it's
like it's like Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, and just, look, honestly, if you saw, when I was doing my first sales letter too, mine was exactly the same. And when I was, been on courses and in coaching programs, and the coach is critiquing the sales letters, 9 out of 10 are exactly the same, because it's just the way we think. We just want to go, this is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Right? Because we know how good it is, and we know the benefits, and it's all up here. But now we've got to go, okay, so what's the benefit of, the overview? Probably to come back and rework it, or whether you worry about breaking it down by episode, or just go back to that other style, that on that other page where you just have the whole heap of bullets and the benefits there, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'd go through that. See, that's what I'm doing with. That's basically where my sales letter for my marketing mastery course is at the moment. Is I'm now going through my course, and well, I had to do it anyway to write the summaries. So I'm writing the course summaries as a download to the course as well, to go back through and just pick out some of the key bullets, and then put those into benefits. And it's time consuming. And like, I don't know, some of these sales letters, I don't know how long they take to craft, and they can remain a work in progress. Like everything's a test, just tweak it, make a change, see if it works. Make a change if you get less sales, change it back. Make a change if you get more sales, leave it. And everything is just a work in progress, especially as we learn the skill of copywriting. And the good news is that it is a skill, and it can be learned. And as online, if we want to make our way online as instructors, or as providing any sort of digital information, whether it be in a course or just a simple video or even PDF stuff, this is a skill that we've got to learn. And if we're going to advertise, this is a skill we've got to learn. Okay, so the point is, we've got to have the sales letter. We've got to have a good, solid sales letter before we start to invite affiliates to start to promote our stuff, because the affiliates will want to send their people to a good page, right? Because it's also their reputation.
And that's one of the questions I've had is what role does this sales letter play along the continuum, of being able to get the course into the hands of people? Where does this fit in? And so it works nicely with affiliates. What are some other?
This is it. But this is also, this is your sales page. This is because you just can't put a course up with a couple of paragraphs and say it's $97. Buy it now, right?
Yeah.
You've got to explain to people what transformational benefits, what they're actually going to learn, and what they're going to get out of, what they're going to walk away with, and why your course is the answer to their problem. And this is it. Like when you're writing your sales letter, as we discussed last week with the buyer's journey or the hero's journey, it's your prospective student who is the hero of this. So they're in the spotlight. So you have got their needs and their problem in the spotlight, not you and not your course, right? So in this letter, you are addressing the problems they have, and then you're saying, now I understand those problems that you have. That's why I developed this system. This is how it's going to transform. This is how it's going to address your problems. This is how it's going to transform your life, whether it be in your family life, in your business life, or whatever course you're doing. This is what you're going to get, and this is the price, right? And this is guaranteed. Like if you're not happy, you get there's a no questions asked guarantee. We'll refund your money. Blah blah blah. That's very important. And then of course the call to action. Now it's your turn. Now click that button, buy now, and I'll see you on the other side. Right? Okay. That page is your 24-hour a day, 7-day a week salesman.
Okay.
All right. So when you're asleep and somebody on the other side of the world types in parenting tips or whatever other keywords that match your whatever keywords you've included in your sales letter,
Yeah.
and they land on your sales page. Now, they may not have actually been looking for a course, but if your sales letter rings those emotional bells and connects with them and go, oh wow, this is really something that this is what I've been looking for. I didn't know there was a course, because a lot of if someone doesn't know a course exists, they're not going to be looking for a course.
Right.
And a lot of people don't. We make the assumption that people know courses exist.
Right.
But it depends on where they are on their journey, right? It depends on where they are in their process. People either are oblivious. It's just coming back to Ray Edwards again. He calls it the open. They're oblivious, so they don't even know they've got a problem. And then as they come down, they come down the process of being in need, and they need it now. They know they need it yesterday, but they're at a different stage. And at different stages of this process, they don't know that there's even any. We make the assumption that the people out there know all about the competition products, and a lot of places actually bag the competition, saying, look, I know there's this course, but and that course is crap because it did this and did this. Don't even mention competition, because 9 times out of 10, your prospective student, the buyer, doesn't even know the competition.
Didn't know about them
because they didn't even know that courses existed, right? So sometimes you make life harder trying to defend your product when there was no need for defense. So the point is that we've got to stop making those assumptions, and we've got to step back. Just step back for a moment and put yourself into the shoes of a dad who's probably just had a big screaming fight with his kid, and then a big screaming fight with his wife because he's had a big screaming fight with his kid, and he's all upset, and he thinks he's a failure, and he's an emotional mess. He says, I've got to do something about this. And he gets on Google and he types in help with parenting, and your page comes up on organic Google search, right? And he clicks your link and he starts reading through, and he goes, wow, I was just looking for, I didn't know you could do courses on this. Wow, this is going to be great for the whole family, right? It's important to look at things from a different perspective, and to see where people are in the process. So yeah, what you're doing here is going to be the hub of your sales. It's going to be basically the center point of all the other work that you're going to do as far as promotion. So this is going to be the page that you are going to direct, that your affiliates are going to direct their list to. So when you set up your affiliate program, obviously that will be tracked, and so the system will know that those people came to this page via an affiliate and not directly, so that you can pay any affiliate commissions that way. But this is the page you're going to send them to, and this is the page too that when if you do decide to do any Facebook or pay-per-click advertising, well, this is the center of the hub, because you would probably make a lead magnet to go to a lead capture page, and then as part of that lead magnet or ongoing email campaign, they would eventually hit this page to buy the product, right? And of course, then we go down the stage of turning your course into a Kindle book, which we know is a very, very popular and very profitable strategy for promoting courses, because that just puts you out into another huge market of prospects. Then once again, you would send them to a lead capture page with some supplemental videos or some worksheets or something from the book, saying, okay, now get your worksheets, or get a walkthrough video here, and you want their name and email address for marketing. And then as part of that ongoing marketing campaign, you would eventually drop them on this site to buy your product.
Okay.
So this is, so if you think of the good old Wild West and the wagon wheel, this is in the middle of that wagon wheel, and everything else is going to eventually is eventually going to lead into this.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So this is why it's important that we get this right.
Yeah.
And it's no use. It's no use doing anything else until we get this right. And it's a good learning experience to get the other things right, because copywriting and this whole mentality, like the marketing mentality and the copywriting skills that you're learning here, you're going to use throughout everything in future.
Yeah.
You're going to right from your course design, your course content, your course descriptions, your sales letter, your lead magnets, and your advertising. Because you think about advertising too, and we're not going to get into this too much. Well, towards the end of the call, we will. You can get all very scientific and logical about your targeting. Okay, we can go through some fantastic ways to make sure that your ads are only shown, especially doing Facebook ads, whatever, are only shown to people who are potentially interested in that topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you could have you could have a great lead magnet, either a PDF or a video, or that one on Facebook to gather leads, to gather information, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if you don't have a compelling headline, because remember in Facebook and pay-per-click and these other areas, you don't have a lot of text. Like you don't have room to write all this information about your course.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got to write a compelling headline, right? And if you don't get a headline right, it doesn't matter about how great your targeting is, and it doesn't matter how great your lead magnet is. It doesn't matter how great your sales page is, and it doesn't matter how great your course is. If you don't get their initial attention,
okay.
But then of course go back through those keywords too, and see where you can it all became clear once we discovered these 5 parenting tips, and then that can
all right, that's great. So
and also
go ahead.
Yeah, and so also just watch how blocky your text gets.
Okay.
It's probably just try to sort of have 1 or 2 sentences per paragraph.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up Eben Pagan's sales letter, and I'm gonna kind of mimic that in terms of its look.
So always follow the masters who've made millions of dollars.
Yeah. And it's funny, Tim. I don't know why I don't start with that. I mean, it just makes sense to be able to, and it's, I think every good author basically took the ideas from other great authors but then embedded their own content, and so not plagiarizing the content, but maybe plagiarizing the format.
Correct.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
It's to see good formats. I mean, people do it, and I know you're in the sports industry. Coaches do it all the time. They, they see a good format, a certain type of formation or something like that, and then they'll embed their own plays or processes off that format. So
correct.